Hello, everybody. Welcome to a tropical update here. This is the look at the Atlantic right now. A fairly active Atlantic. Of course, we got Hurricane Epsilon still turning in the open Atlantic. Not forecast to make landfall, fortunately, over the Atlantic Canada, but it is forecast to become, if the models are to be believed, a powerful extratropical cyclone near Iceland here. So, those of you guys just keep an eye on that if you live in that part of the world. Then, of course, we've got newly designated Invest 95L in the Caribbean, and yeah, fairly active Atlantic right now. That Invest 95L is forecast to become a threat to perhaps the continental United States here later on down the line. Of course, it's still kind of too early to say at this point. We still got to wait for a well-defined area of circulation here, or center of circulation, I should say here. And the reconnaissance plane is scheduled to fly into this area of disturbed weather here tomorrow to get a better grasp on how well the system's organized, if it has at all. And then here's the forecast discussion from the National Hurricane Center for Invest 95L. As you can see here, satellite images and surface observations indicate that the broad area of low pressure located just west of Grand Cayman Islands continues to show signs of organization. Environmental conditions appear conducive for further development, and a tropical depression will likely form during the next day or two, while the low drifts towards the northwest. The system could move near western Cuba by Sunday and move slowly across the southeastern Gulf of Mexico by early next week. Interests in western Cuba, the Florida Keys, and southern Florida should monitor the progress of this disturbance. Regardless of development, locally heavy rainfall will be possible over portions of the Cayman Islands, Jamaica, Cuba, southern Florida, the Florida Keys, and northwestern Bahamas through the weekend, and formation chance for the next 48 hours and 5 days is a high 70% chance for Invest 95L. Here's a look at Invest 95L on infrared satellite imagery here. Not much to really look at here, since the system isn't really well developed at this point at time at least. But of course, you could see an organizing area of interest here in the Caribbean here, which is something you don't really want to see. So hopefully it doesn't really come to fruition here. But again, 70% chance of formation, so a pretty high chance that this will become at least our next tropical depression here. And here's a wide view of the water vapor imagery here again. I can see Hurricane Epsilon still turning over the Atlantic, and I could also still see Invest 95L turning in the Caribbean there on this water vapor imagery. And here's a look at radar imagery off of the Cayman Islands here for Invest 95L, and you can see just a really broad area of circulation here. It's going to be really interesting to see how the storm progresses overnight and then before the reconnaissance plane gets into the system here to investigate it and get better data, and then put that into the models to get a better grasp on where Invest 95L will ultimately end up here. And here's a look at Hurricane Epsilon's forecast cone. Epsilon is forecast to weaken from this point on. As you can see here in the latest forecast cone, as of 11 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time Advisory 21, center is located at 36.5 degrees north, 62.1 degrees west, maximum sustained 1-minute winds at 80 miles per hour, moving due north by 13 miles per hour, and again forecast to weaken from this point on and eventually dissipate by around 8 in the morning Monday Atlantic Standard Time there. Here's a closer look at Hurricane Epsilon here. You can see how the hurricane's progressed over the past 3 hours here, pretty much maintained its intensity for the most part, and kind of gradually weakening throughout the past 3 hours here in this last update from the National Hurricane Center for Hurricane Epsilon. You can see it's maybe trying to form another eye over the center of circulation there in the last 2 frames on this close-up infrared imagery. Here's another water vapor imagery look at the system here. This time it's colored. Of course, the green and white you see there is really moist, favorable air for this hurricane, and of course that yellow air, that yellow color right there is really a dry, stable air, which of course isn't good for hurricanes or tropical cyclones in general. Really hampers the developments there. And again, this is water vapor imagery of Hurricane Epsilon. Elsewhere throughout the world, we got in the Western Pacific, active Western Pacific today, we got recently degraded tropical storm now Saldel. It's no longer a typhoon. Don't know why they haven't updated the graphic here. And we also got newly formed tropical depression 21W, which poses a threat to Vietnam and the Philippines here. We also got Invest 99W, which we may have to watch here, but again at this point has a low chance of formation. Let's take a look at tropical storm Saldel right now, and it's a 55-knot tropical storm at this point, which is about 65 miles per hour. Of course, making this a tropical storm, and Saldel is forecast to either make landfall on extreme southeastern Hainan there, or perhaps over Vietnam. But as it does so, it's supposed to be continuing to weaken at and after landfall here, as you can see, either as a tropical depression or a tropical storm, depending on where it decides to make landfall, if it veers a little bit more north or if it veers a little bit more south. And then here's a look at tropical depression 21W on infrared satellite imagery here, and you can see just the gradually organizing system here. Yeah, and here's a look at tropical storm Saldell, and you can easily see why they downgraded it to a tropical storm. It's pretty much nothing but a little burst of cloud cover that's sheared off from the center of circulation here, as you can easily see here. So no wonder why they downgraded it to a tropical storm from a category 2 typhoon in the last update that I posted on this storm. And here's the forecast for tropical depression 21W, and you can see at this point it's a 30 knot tropical depression, which is about 35 miles per hour, and it's forecast to peak as a 75 knot category 1 typhoon, which is I believe about 85 miles per hour. So again, a moderate and category 1 typhoon here, as it enters the South China Sea, and again poses a threat, unfortunately, to Vietnam, as you can see there. And again, here's another look at the infrared imagery for that storm. A pretty broad storm at this point, hence part why the Joint Typhoon Warning Center aren't really thinking the storm will amount to much throughout the next few 48 hours or so. But after it passes the Philippines here, depending on how the system's organizing by then, could potentially become a decently potent typhoon in the South China Sea, just like Typhoon Saldell was about a day ago. And a reminder for the 2020 Greek alphabet tropical cyclone names. Again, you can already cross out Alpha, Beta, Gamma, Delta, Epsilon, and perhaps Zeta if Invest 95L ends up developing. Zeta is the furthest into the Greek alphabet an Atlantic season has ever gone, which was previously held by the 2005 Atlantic hurricane season. Where, of course, if we reach Zeta from Invest 95L, of course, we would tie that, and then we would be part of a record-breaking season here, along with 2005 here, in terms of the record named tropical cyclones for a Atlantic hurricane season since they started recording these hurricane seasons in the basin. So a really interesting tidbit information there. And that's pretty much going to be about it for this tropical update here. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down in the comment section below, and I try to answer them to the best of my ability. I have all the links to the sites that I use down in the description below if you're interested to see what sites or links that I use in this tropical update. Again, they're in the description below. If you want to check those out and see for yourself just what sites and what links that I use. And that's going to be about it for this tropical update here. In summary, again, keep a close eye on tropical depression 21W in the West Pacific. Keep a close eye on Invest 95L and a creep-in here as it gradually develops throughout the next few hours and days here. And reconnaissance aircraft is scheduled to fly into the system tomorrow to get a better grasp on what exactly the system is doing. And Hurricane Epsilon is fortunately not going to be an issue at all for the continental United States or Atlantic Canada at this point in time. So that's pretty much going to be about it for me. Hope everybody has a great day night wherever you guys are. Stay safe, of course. Until then, see you guys on the next video. Peace.